Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You open?
Me? No, September we're gonna open. I'm doing some renovations. I'm gonna go up 4 floors, I think. Yeah, why not? We go up 4 floors and we do it that way.
My name is Emmanuel Manolakakis. I'm 52 years old, born and raised in Toronto, Canada, and I'm the owner-operator of Fight Club. Fight Club was started in 2003, April 2003 specifically, and it started off in the most interesting way. I really didn't want to start a martial art club, to be honest with you, but what I did want to do is train. And I had moved down to the city of Toronto from up north of Toronto, which is where I was training, and the commute was a lot for me to do. So I decided to open up just a small training group in the city so that I can continue training in Systema, which is a form of Russian martial art. And the school just kind of blossomed out of that. It was really just a small group of people training, about 5-6 students that were truly dedicated, and then it was all word of mouth and growing, and that was, a long time ago. That was almost 17 years ago. Before Systema, if you wanted to, let's say, learn how to wrestle, you went to like a wrestling school. If you wanted to learn how to kick, you did Taekwondo. If you wanted punching, you did boxing. Like, it was all these arts kind of specialized in different things, and you kind of went around and you mishmashed things, right? When I found Systema, it was so complete. We wrestled, we punched, we kicked, there was weapons, there was knife work. It was all just very practical, and we covered everything. There was no separating it, which I loved. It was like, wow, I finally found a place that I could do everything I wanted to. I don't have to run around to different arts to kind of get their specialty, right? Systema is ridiculously simple. Learn how to move first. If you can't move, you're finished. I've trained about 4 students here that were gymnastics guys. They were just amazing. They picked up Systema in a year. They picked up what people pick up in 5 years. And why? Because they know how to move their body. They spent so much time tumbling and turning and falling and moving that I just said, instead of tumbling, falling, punch and kick, and they figured it out very quick. Breathe. That's the essence of life. Breathe. Like, if you don't have a breath, nothing else will happen. You look at a survival chart, they say, okay, how do you survive out in the woods? The first one is breathing. If you can't get a breath of air, you're not going to survive, right? So breathing, and what people fail to realize is breathing is connected to well over 200 bodily functions in our body. So when you have control over your breathing, you have control over much more than you can imagine. So you really don't need you need to spend 80% of your time learning how to breathe and how to move, and then just have some ideas of like wrestling and punching and kicking, and it'll come to you just perfectly, right? So they'll learn everything. Students, I study weapons here. We study groundwork, multiple attackers, improvised weapons, meaning, jackets, belts, shoes, picture frames. We study multiple attackers, 4 or 5 guys on you, or how would you deal with that? Any of the traditional weapons, meaning like guns and knives. I don't get into the fancier swords and stuff. I just think that's not as practical for what I like to do. And then just the whole array of health practices, just getting strong and flexible. And so they'll study almost everything that I could imagine. Like, I take inspiration from all of sports, like not just martial arts. I'm a fan of any athleticism. When you look at, let's say, fighting, other than, let's say, sport, in general, it probably represents like 0.00001% of our life. It's a very small percentage. So, but we live every day, and we fight every day in different ways, We fight to do the right thing, we fight to eat the right thing, we're always, and that's how the name Fight Club came out, right? It's like, the old adage is, you're your own worst enemy. So it's like we need to, when we're trained, learn how to fight ourselves in a funny way. Like, if I'm my own worst opponent, which I think most martial artists, most people in general will agree that nobody screwed you up more than yourself. You got yourself into all the pickles that you've ever got yourself into. So how do you fight that guy? Like, how do you fight that person? You know, do you fight them and become nasty? Or do you fight them with patience and understanding? Like, really, which is what's necessary, right? Is understand yourself, be patient with yourself, and make changes in a positive way, right? And that's the fight I want people to discover. It's you're learning how to fight yourself first, and then if you do that good, you will see you won't want to fight other people. Because if you take care of yourself, you're not angry. If you're not angry, you don't attract any problems, right? It's usually when we're angry inside that these problems manifest themselves.